Hi, my name is Mr. Wolf, and I have your student this year in journalism here at Cocalico. I love this course. I love that it's an elective because the hope then is that students who really want to learn more about journalism and take this course seriously and focus in on some of their writing are the ones who choose to do it, and that gives us a lot of freedom to work together and grow and really maximize our time in the class. The course goal of the course is, first of all, to better understand news and journalism and then also be able to practice that and apply that. Obviously, journalism is becoming something that's incredibly complex, especially with the advent of things like new media and podcasting and things like that. And just the internet in general making news and journalism a very, very complex thing to follow and learn about and grow in. And so hopefully we all are able to really, really maximize that and grow. Um, my focus in any course that I teach is in building relationships with students and knowing more about who they are, how they learn, and things like that, and growing with them as a class. And that really helps me to just, a lot of students really, the way they learn is by knowing their teachers, knowing who they are, and interacting with them one-on-one. And I really want to apply that in any one of my courses that I teach. It's a small class, which is awesome, okay? It's a small class, it's an elective, there aren't a lot of students in it, which is great because it allows for easy collaboration and connection with pretty much anybody in the class. It also allows for easy one-on-one time with any student without having to take away from others because, again, the numbers are lower than an average class, which is just so great with some of the one-on-one features. And again, back to students choosing it because they're taking it seriously and being able to focus in and dial in together on a topic that's not heavily covered in most high school classes, right? It's a very specialized topic. And so I'm loving getting to work with these students and going forward with them. Daily, we do news exploration every day. I leave that pretty open. Maybe I'll tell students the medium they need to choose, right? We're moving into some podcasting. I'll say you need to listen to a podcast, but I'll allow them to explore news as they see fit. I challenge them to try different tools, apps, different mediums. If they want to watch something one day, read something the next, and listen the next. Challenge them to look at all kinds of different perspectives and ideas and just really grow in that and just expose themselves to all the options that news has. We started with some school reporting as our first article. That one we're finishing up at this very moment. We're going to do some news and journalism ethics. A lot of people don't understand the ethics that go into it and that are supposed to be followed and that are developed over time and with different organizations and associations and etc. One of the most important things that I think we do is media literacy, along with things like fake news, understanding news bias and things like that, and trying to better understand those things. Being media literate is very, very, very difficult, especially now with things like social media and, like I said, a bunch of new media. Basically, the internet makes news very tough. It's everywhere, and it's hard to really know what to do with all of it and how to really analyze it and get into it, and also how to seek out or spot things that are blatantly fake versus things that are biased, etc. It's a very a tough thing to do, and we're going to work together to do that. We're going to talk about some journalism history, going back to the history of journalism, back to some of the muckrakers and things like that, talk about where it sort of started. It will look obviously very different than where it is now, and that is totally fine. We'll do some photojournalism. I tell students that even if it's just their phone, if they're using their phone for photography, it's not necessarily just about the quality of pictures, even though phones are becoming incredibly high quality. It's also it's good to just be able to work with the photo. So I don't necessarily overemphasize just the fact that it might not be a perfect photo. We're going to talk about just being able to work with photos and tell stories with that. One thing I really love about this course is podcasting. I've already mentioned it a couple of times. We listen to podcasts, and we're actually going to create podcasts and hopefully even submit them to NPR does a student podcast challenge where they allow students to submit podcasts and judge them and potentially win and have yours actually like published and listened to. Podcasting is something that is I love podcasting as far as listening to it, and I give students a lot of options to listen to podcasts. There's so many good ones out there. there are just so many options for it. I think beyond high school, podcasting is something that students can really connect with and listen to and learn and grow with, just by having it as an option, right? Students can do it casually. You can actively or passively listen to podcasts. And so integrating that into this course and any other course that we do, I think is so important. But we will be creating our own podcasts and working on that. And I also just think some of the technological skills that go into that, as well as practicing some of those speaking skills, is great. We often focus on writing in English courses, reading and writing, and as English teachers, we like to also be able to focus on speaking skills, and I think it's important that we do focus on some of those speaking skills with this project. Interviewing is a skill we will build in this class. Students have already worked on doing some interviewing. We've already talked about interview questions and how to build those, and students have already practiced interviewing people. And during such an odd time with various social distancing measures and just with some of the changes in some of the school settings, I do allow for also some digital interviewing, and students can write questions and send them to people. But we practice some interviewing. We will do some special pieces such as reviews, a movie review or some sort of review, editorials, so good quality opinion pieces, and it's great to let students really express themselves with those, and even some profile work on reading profiles and hopefully writing some profiles as well, and really getting to the essence of who people are. Lastly, we'll talk about new media, as I talked about, and how the internet and how those things affect journalism, and just, again, that'll tie back in a lot to some of the media literacy and things like that. The advent of all of our technology that we have today makes journalism a very tough topic, and so we will be talking about that as we move forward. My goal in this class is just to get students heavily, and I've talked a bit about it, but heavily exposed to just all kinds of different journalism things that are going on out there, and then being able to do some analysis of those things and creating their own pieces. It's great to see what students create. It's great to see what they cover. It's great to see what opinion pieces they write, etc. It's great to see all of those things. As far as the course, my work expectations are just like they are for any course. I expect students to complete everything that is assigned to them. I know it is an elective, and I know sometimes students can be tempted to not view it as highly as some of their other courses. However, I don't feel that that is this group of students. They all seem to really want to take it very seriously, and that's how I take this course. I think if you're going to take a course about something as important as journalism, it's important to focus in on that, and so students are stepping up to that. I do hold up my end of that. It's not just that I expect students to submit their work. I also make sure to be available to them. So I can meet students in the morning if they want to schedule an early meeting. Students don't often like to schedule early meetings, but they can. There will be days I'm able to stay late after school. I am a wrestling coach, so that doesn't work every day, but after the wrestling season, I'm able to do that almost every day. I also am more than willing to work with them during our focus or to bring them in during a focus. Ultimately, as I said, this group of students seems very dedicated to the course, and I'm not super concerned about those things, but I want to make sure that I am available to students to help them as much as possible. I also do not just assign things and send them home. Especially in a course like journalism, it's important that we have time in class, similar to the way journalists would have, where it's built into their workday to get work done, and they might even have people they can collaborate with and editors they can talk to. It's important that we have that. So I will not just be assigning things. Students will have class time for almost everything that we work on. And so that is a good way for them to be getting some of that practice in, asking me questions, asking classmates questions, and working together. They will also have opportunities to collaborate with one another. I think it's important that they can work with others, and hopefully that provides some assurance in what they're doing. All that said, I'm just very excited about this semester. I'm really enjoying this course. I'm really excited to see where we can go with all of it. And I really like the class, and I'm having a blast, and just can't wait to see all the crazy, awesome things that we can do throughout the semester.